you're out there, you're riding, you're having a good time, and taking in the outdoors.
The fight isn't over. The fight is just beginning.
So the stock market, I don't know if a lot of you are very interested in this kind of topic, but it's something that I'm interested in. I just started using Webull, the app, since Robinhood is they've been looking out for their own interests as opposed to having a free and open trading platform. So it's always good to diversify, and I think Robinhood is kind of in trouble. I don't know what's going to happen with that platform. That's not what I was going to talk about. I was going to talk about just the stock market in general and where I see it going. I'm just some dude on a motorcycle, so keep that in mind. But I would say that the trajectory of the stock market is pretty easy to predict right now. It's pretty easy to predict right now just because of Congress and what they are investing in. So you can pretty much tell what's going to happen with it just based off of what Congress is doing. Because Congress is the most successful group of people in the stock market because they know exactly what's going to go on legally. So, or politically, I should say, which in turn becomes law. But our current political climate, and I'm not going to get political on this video, but it's very much towards a lot of green energy. And what I've known for a long time is a lot of the so-called green stuff really isn't green, but you have to play the game. It's like ethanol. We all kind of knew that ethanol didn't make sense. In fact, ethanol still doesn't make sense, and it's a horrible thing to add to your fuel. And it's hard on the environment. But the government doesn't do what makes sense, so you have to keep that in mind when you're in the stock market. And again, I'm not a professional by any means, but right now, Nancy Pelosi, you can see she spent $1 million on Tesla. And that tells me that the EV market, whether it makes sense or not, is getting the full support of the United States government, and it will be getting subsidies and legal help anywhere possible. That means stocks like Blink, the charging station stock, there's a few of those out there that really make sense right now. They've been doing really well, and Tesla's going to do really well, and the Chinese stocks are going to do really well, like NIO. Tesla claims they're going to have level 5 autonomous vehicles, which is full autonomy, by the end of 2021. If that's the case, then Tesla's a good place to be. And you have to remember with Tesla, it's a stock that isn't just a EV stock. It's pretty much anything tied to Elon Musk is going through Tesla. As far as sales go for EVs, Tesla is not even profitable, but they get so much help through the government that they do well. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff that just doesn't make sense that you have to go ahead with anyways. EVs are some of the dirtiest vehicles on the road because of the process of creating a battery and then the disposal process, and then there's the inefficiencies that go along with the battery and all the toxic stuff that it takes to maintain that charge. You're taking the charge off of the infrastructure, which is not electrically powered. It's creating that energy. I mean, there are so many ends to this EV stuff that you would really have to advance a battery pretty far from where they're at right now in order for it to make sense. But that said, I'm still heavily invested in the EV market because that's where our economy is going currently. It's not clean at all, not even a little bit. But Nancy Pelosi just bet $1 million of her own money into the EV market, and Biden is giving the EV market his full support, which means that's the place to be. A lot of people saw that coming, so you could say that the EV market's kind of in a bubble, but man, it just keeps going up. So I think the things that make more sense are things like hydrogen cell technology, which is also going to be coming up. And then there's zero emission fuels as well, like Jiva. And that fuel cell, I think the ticker symbol is FCEL. In my mind, that's a really good company and a really good platform if we're going to look towards the future. I think that kind of technology would do us well, but and the stock is really showing that too. They're pretty much anything clean energy is really blowing up right now. With the increased spending that I see in the future, it's kind of hard to tell because I do believe that our economy is going to see some hard times, and I don't necessarily think that oil is going to get hit real hard until things completely start transitioning, although I have left oil for the most part, simply because there's bigger gains to be made. They're really easy to spot. There are a couple stocks though that I have been looking at very hard and that I believe in a lot right now, and I think they're going to go to the moon. And they don't have anything to do really with clean energy, although stocks like fuel cell, I mean, I did really well with fuel cell and I'm just keeping it. But GILT, Gillette, however you pronounce that, Satellite Networks, is going to be in charge of creating 5G through satellite networks, which will completely change things as far as internet connectivity. Everybody, no matter where you live, will have awesome internet. They make excellent profits already every quarter. They have like 500 million cash. Everything coming together at once. And for what's about to happen with GILT, I think that company is just going to explode in 2021. That's just my opinion on that. I don't really even recommend investing just in one company or heavily into one company, but if you're going to do it, at least know a lot about that company. And I try not to be in the Chinese market just off principle, but I mean, you look at NIO and their growth potential and how many people are already driving their cars. I think they're a better bet than Tesla, really. Anyways, there are American companies out there that are going to do really well, despite what the market does, for a little while at least. But in my opinion, inflation's going to be out of control pretty soon, and it's going to be best to get into something that gets away from the US dollar. You're going to want to get away from the US dollar, I think. That's kind of a doomsday outlook, I know, but it is what it is. It's my opinion on it. I think you're going to want to get away from it as quickly as you can when it starts to happen. I mean, you look at China and how well they're doing. We have a lot of government officials who are now heavily involved with that country, so it's kind of, I know I said it's kind of easy to predict, but I meant that in the short term. It's going to be pretty easy to predict what they're going to do, but long term it's really going to be pretty volatile, I think. I don't know what the answer is. It's going to be an interesting time, that's for sure. But But anyways, guys, let me know what you think. I don't know if there's any stock traders out there, people who are doing a lot of research on markets, but I'm curious what everybody thinks. I'm pretty curious as to how far I can make it at this point. This bike, just the engine is so butter smooth, it's easy to get it to behave on this slick stuff. Anyways, guys, I will catch you on the next section. Peace.